Text, Matthew 9, 9 to 13. As Jesus passed from there, he saw a man named Matthew sitting at the tax office, and he said to him, "Follow me." So he arose and followed him. This brief moment introduces a scene that reveals the character of the kingdom that was appearing in Israel in the days of Jesus. Matthew was a tax collector. In the society of first century Judea, tax collectors were viewed as traitors and sinners. They worked under the authority of Rome, collecting revenue from their own people, often gaining wealth through dishonesty. Because of this, they were rejected by the religious community and excluded from respectable society. Yet it is this man whom Jesus calls. The call is simple and authoritative. Follow me. There is no record of negotiation, preparation, or qualification. The summons of the Messiah itself creates the response. Matthew rises from the tax booth and follows. The authority of the king establishes the new community that is forming around him. The narrative then moves to a meal. Matthew hosts a gathering in his house, and many tax collectors and sinners come and sit with Jesus and his disciples. The table becomes a place of fellowship. In the culture of the time, sharing signified acceptance and association. Jesus deliberately sits among those whom the religious system had cast out. The Pharisees observe this and question the disciples. Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners? Their concern reflects the framework of the Old Covenant order. Within that system, righteousness was guarded through separation from what was considered unclean. The religious leaders believed holiness was preserved by avoiding those who were outside the boundaries of the law. Jesus answers their question directly. Those who are well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick. With this statement, he identifies his role. He is the physician for Israel, coming to restore those who are spiritually diseased. The presence of sinners around him is not a contradiction of his mission. It is the very reason for his coming. He then directs the Pharisees to the scriptures. Go and learn what this means. I desire mercy and not sacrifice. This quotation comes from the prophet Hosea. In the prophetic writings, God repeatedly rebuked Israel for maintaining outward ritual while lacking covenant faithfulness and compassion. Sacrificial activity had continued, but the heart of mercy had been lost. By quoting Hosea, Jesus places his ministry within the prophetic expectation of Israel's restoration. The kingdom that was being announced was not centered on ritual observance, but on the revealing of divine mercy. The Messiah had come not to reinforce the existing structures of religious exclusion, but to fulfill what the prophets declared. He concludes with the statement, "For I did not come to call the righteous, but sinners." This declaration exposes the contrast between two kinds of righteousness. On one side stood those who considered themselves righteous through their adherence to the religious system. On the other side were those openly recognized as sinners. The mission of Jesus was directed toward those who knew their need. Within the unfolding story of Israel, this moment marks the gathering of a new covenant community around the Messiah. Those once outside the religious establishment are brought near through his call. The table fellowship with tax collectors and sinners anticipates the transformation that would soon take place as the old covenant and order approached its conclusion, and the reality promised by the prophets came into full expression. Thus, Matthew 9, verse 9 to 13 reveals the nature of the kingdom that Jesus was inaugurating. A kingdom defined by the authority of the Messiah, centered on mercy rather than sacrifice, and extended toward those whom the existing religious system had rejected. The call of Matthew and the meal with sinners stand as a visible sign of the grace that the Messiah brought to his people in the days when the promises to Israel were reaching their fulfillment.